Hello everyone, welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanavendra Vidyapeeth for the students of class 9. Once again, nice to see you in today's English grammar lecture for semester 1. Students, in the last 2 lectures, we put our hands on the practice of the topic transformation of sentences. As you can see the name being displayed on the board. This is going to be the third and concluding part of the same. In the past 2 lectures, we practiced sentences about the topic transformation of sentences with regards to voice, with regards to simple sentences, complex, compound, and so on. There are a few more which are equally important for students to learn. So we will be taking up the textual sentences that we came across when we read the chapter about the lost child from our supplementary reader moments. The transformation topics that we are going to acknowledge today and understand and practice are the transformation of no sooner, hardly, as soon as. We'll be taking an extensive practice of this most confusing topic and probably the difficult one. And followed by that, we will be practicing the degree with around 2 sentences, that is change of a given sentence from one degree to the other, that is positive, comparative and superlative. Further, we will be looking into a sentence, 1 or 2 sentences about changing a given sentence into affirmative and negative respectively, and finally we will take up a sentence to remove TOO2. Well, in the earlier chapter also we had practiced transformation of sentences, so it is always good to practice this important topic. It is a necessary part in the question paper whenever it is asked to you. Many times students are not able to gain or score marks just because of lack of practice. So why should that happen? We should be practicing it a lot. And I take up this initiative to help you to practice textual sentences, because these are the ones that are asked in the test. Perhaps in the board examination you will be asked when you go to class 10. So without further ado, let us take up the practice of the topic no sooner, hardly and as soon as. Well, you very well know when we practice no sooner, hardly and as soon as, we have one sentence, one textual sentence with us, and we try to transform the given sentence into 3 different types or the 3 different ways with the help of no sooner, having a combination with the word than, no sooner than. Well, similarly, when we make use of the word hardly, we use it in a combination with the word when, hardly when. And when we use as soon as, we make use of the comma without fail. So let's get started and take up the first sentence for ourselves to practice. I hope you have your copies ready with you. In case you don't have, take a moment, get it ready soon and try to practice along with me. So let's get started. It is topic number 8, the last video lecture we understood up to 7. Today we are going to take the 8th subtopic, that is no sooner, hardly and as soon as. So note it down carefully and correctly. The first sentence that I am going to take from the text, note it down carefully. He came to where they had stopped to wait for him. He could not suppress the desire of his heart. A textual sentence, note it down. the first textual sentence that we are going to change with the help of no sooner, hardly and as soon as respectively, one after the other. So be very attentive, observe the changes, see how it is written in a very careful manner, and once it is done you can take a screenshot and keep it for your future reference further studies. So he came to where they had stopped. To wait for him is one clause as you see over here, and it has an action inside it, isn't it? Further, he could not suppress the desire of his heart. So we are talking about two actions over here, which will be written once again, transformed with the help of no sooner and than, as I just said a short while ago. So let's begin with the word no sooner. But the necessary changes you got to observe over here. We have he came, so the word came as you see is in the simple past. When I will be writing the sentence with the help of no sooner, I'll have to make the necessary changes, that is the insertion of the auxiliary verb did, and then make the original verb or the main verb into its past participle form. So no sooner did he come, that is how I will be writing, no sooner did he come. So I am inserting the word did, the auxiliary past tense over here. No sooner did he, that is the subject over here, did he, came will now become come. I cannot keep the same word came over here, I need to modify that because the past tense auxiliary verb has been used did over here, which is a proper combination with or a proper understanding with the word come. So no sooner did he come, so that is one action we are talking about. No sooner did he come, where did he come? To where they, no sooner did he come to where they had stopped. They had stopped. He could not, to wait for him. Yeah, we have the words to wait for him. So no sooner did he come to where they had stopped to wait for him than, so the comma will now be eliminated and we are going to use the connecting word over here than. As I said, we make use of the word no sooner, we must make use of the word than in combination with the two. So no sooner did he come to where they had stopped to wait for him, then what happens? He could not, that is the child over here, we acknowledge this, he could not suppress the desire of his heart. So we'll be writing these words. Then he could not suppress the desire of his heart. So in this manner we have transformed the given statement with the help of no sooner and than. So this is something that you need to learn properly, and the necessary changes that come about when we make use of no sooner in our sentence to write the given content. Well, this was the first thing we did, so you can have the numbering over done. The second one, we are going to use of the words hardly, but remember, as I said, hardly is used with the word when. Hardly and when. So let's begin with the word hardly and observe the changes. Hardly, just like we inserted over here, did he come? Similarly, we'll have to use the appropriate auxiliary verb over here. Hardly had he come to where, note it down, hardly had he come to where they had stopped. Stopped to wait for him wait for him, when he could not. So here we have the word when, the connecting word, just like we had the word than over here. Than he could not. Similarly we are writing hardly when. When he could not suppress the desire of his heart. When he could not suppress the desire of his heart. So in this manner we have successfully transformed the given sentence into hardly when. That is how we write it. Well, the next one, with the use of the word as soon as. So we'll be making use of this comparative form, as soon as, and then writing as soon as. That is the third way of transforming the given sentence. He came to where they had stopped to wait for him. One clause, he could not suppress the desire of his heart. So as soon as he came, so this time we are not changing the word into come, we are not applying any auxiliary verb of the past. So as soon as, write it down, as soon as he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, Now we used to apply the word than, we applied the word when over here, but here we are not applying any such connecting word. Simply we are applying the comma. So acknowledge this very well, understand this very well, that when you make use of as soon as, we make use in connection to that we have the comma, which is to be applied without fail. So as soon as he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart. Well, so we have completed the first given sentence to us, a textual one, in three different ways: no sooner, hardly, and as soon as. Take a screenshot of this, keep it for your future reference. We will take the next textual sentence to practice the same topic: no sooner, hardly, and as soon as. The next textual sentence, be ready to write. He went towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while. Note it down. He went towards his parents. Gaily and walked abreast of them for a while. Well, let us transform the given sentence, the textual one, using no sooner, hardly and as soon as, just like we did the first one. So gradually you will be having the grip over this particular topic about how to change no sooner, hardly and thing. So you will have to remember the stipulated pattern that I am trying to teach you time and then. First one, no sooner did he go. Have a careful understanding of this. We are using the words no sooner and the necessary changes by applying the past tense auxiliary over here. No sooner did, we have the subject went, changing to go. No sooner did he go. So we are using the present form over here, just like we used the present form in the previous one. Did he come? No sooner did he go towards. These are the necessary changes that one needs to remember in order to write the correct answer. No sooner did he go towards his parents. Once these little things are understood well, you will never get your answer wrong. Gaily. So no sooner did he go towards his parents gaily. We have the conjunction as the and walked abreast. So we are not going to use, we are going to use the connecting word over here, isn't it? So no sooner did he go towards his parents gaily than, no sooner than he walked. So without fail, you should be able to make these changes, identify and understand these changes. No sooner did he go towards his parents gaily than, again we are using the subject over here, he walked abreast of them for a while. Gradually when you learn this, you will be able to speed up the time of writing these answers. Immediately you will be able to figure out the answers. No sooner did he go towards his parents gaily than he walked abreast of them for a while. Next we will be writing with the help of hardly and when. So note this down, mark it over here as hardly. Well, in the last first sentence also you learned we need to use the word had, isn't it? Similarly we are going to use over here hardly had he. So hardly had he is the subject. Went, we require the past participle form, as I just said in the previous sentence. Come was the past participle form. Hardly had he gone. So you must be able to think that went is the past form, go is the present form, and gone is the past participle form. Hence hardly had he gone towards his parents hardly had he gone towards his parents gaily. You should be able to recall, instead of then, what are we going to use? The word when. Yes, gradually you will be able to remember and recall these things. So hardly had he gone towards his parents gaily when he walked abreast of them for a while. This is the second transformation for the same sentence. Next we are going to transform the same sentence by using as soon as, the comparative way. We don't require any connecting word over here. Remember this. We require the comma to separate the clauses. As soon as he went towards his parents, note it down. So as soon as he went towards his parents gaily, well, after the word gaily, we had written than, we had written when. Now we are not going to write any connecting words, simply we are going to apply the comma to separate the clauses. As soon as he went towards his parents gaily, what happened? He walked abreast of them for a while. Write down. He walked abreast of them for a while. Well, in this manner, you can very well see we have successfully written the given sentence into the three different transformed types, that is no sooner than, hardly when, and as soon as, with the comma that we take a screenshot of the same, keep it for your future reference. I hope you are noting it down correctly and with proper understanding and practicing it along with me. So today we are going to practice this topic in a very rigorous manner so that we have a good grip over this particular topic. Well, it's the most commonly asked question in the tests and in examinations. Therefore, it's important to practice this one thoroughly. Next one, the third one. Third one, a shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. Note it down. Well, this is the sentence that we need to transform. The first thing that we are going to do is use no sooner along with this. So, as a shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. So, this is a complex sentence, as you can see, joined by the connecting word as he entered the grove. So, we will change it into no sooner, hardly, and as soon as, one by one. First one, making use of the combination words no sooner and than. Acknowledge this very well. The same method we are going to follow, the same rule we are going to follow to insert the auxiliary verb in the past tense and change the main verb into the present form. So, a shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove. No sooner, but we'll have to make necessary changes over here in the sentence. No sooner, two actions over here, so we'll have to use the different second action first. No sooner did the child, so we're talking about the child entering the grove and then the showering of the young flowers happening. So no sooner did the child, so we are picking up our subject from here. As you can see, we have the connecting word over here, as he entered the grove. No sooner did the child enter, so we have the word entered as the past tense given, we're changing it into the present form. No sooner did the child enter the grove, then what happened? Then, so we are using the connecting word, then a shower of young flowers fell upon fell upon him. So we are using a pronoun over here. We made use of the noun earlier, so we can use the pronoun over here. No sooner did the child enter the grove than a shower of young flowers fell upon him. So the given sentence is now been transformed using no sooner than. Next one, making use of the word hardly. Acknowledge this very well, understand this very well. Hardly. So once again we are going to recall the same rule that we used in the previous two sentences when we practice the use of the word had and the past participle form of the main verb. So hardly had the child, note it down, hardly had the child. What is the action? We have the main action, entered. So entered is, here it is simple past, but when we acknowledge this in the answer, we have to understand that it is past participle. So hardly had the child entered the groove. Recall, what are we supposed to write? We are not going to use than, we are not going to use comma, we are going to use the word when. So hardly had the child entered the group when the thing happened. What happened? When a shower of young flowers fell upon the child or fell upon him. Hardly had the child entered the group when a shower of young flowers fell upon him. So in this way we have used the word hardly and when in order to write our sentence. Third one, that is transforming with the help of as soon as. As soon as, what happened? The child entered the groove. Very simple to do. The more you practice, easier it will become for you. As soon as the child entered the groove, so I'm going to use a comma over here. Okay, unlike than and when, which I used for the previous two sentences, I'm not going to use. Unlike as soon as the child entered the groove, comma, a shower of young flowers fell upon him. Well, in this manner we have successfully transformed the given sentence into all the three types: no sooner than, hardly when, and as soon as, with the requirement of the comma. So take a screenshot of the same and keep it for your future assistance. You may require to refer to this in the later time. So it is a good idea to keep a screenshot. Well, next one, we'll take one more sentence for no sooner, hardly, and as soon as. The fourth practice sentence, textual one. As they neared the village, comma, the child could see many other footpaths. could see many other footpaths. Well, let us understand and write three different sentences, three different transformations with no sooner, hardly, and as soon as. The first one, no sooner, so we'll be a little quicker. No sooner did the child, so you can see we've got two clauses, as they neared the village and the child could see. So we've got two actions, nearing to the village and the child happening to see the other footpaths. So no sooner did the child, no sooner did they near the village, I beg your pardon, no sooner did they, this is the first one, no sooner did they near the village. So have a look, neared is now changed to near in the present form. So no sooner did they near the village, what happened? We'll be writing with the word than. No sooner did they near the village than, what happened? The child could see. So two actions, the child could see many other footpaths. So this is the first transformation that we've done. Quickly we'll go to the next one with the help of hardly. Hardly when. So no sooner did they near the village than the child could see many other footpaths. Just like that, we will be starting with hardly. Hardly, remember we followed the pattern, had plus the past participle form of the main verb given to us. So we will be using the same pattern to write hardly had they, hardly had they, the subject, hardly had they neared, neared is the past participle. Try to explain this to yourself, it is not the simple past, it is the past participle. Hardly had they neared the village. Then we will be inserting the word when over here instead of than over here. We inserted no sooner than, hardly when. When the child could see many other footpaths. So in this way we have completed the second transformation with the help of hardly and when. As soon as is the next one. Now this should be very easy for you. As soon as they neared, so no changes over here. As soon as they neared the village, as soon as they neared the village, comma, what happened? The child could see. As soon as they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths. So in this manner we have done this in a very quick manner. So take a screenshot of the same, keep it for your future reference. We'll take one last sentence to practice this topic, no sooner hardly, and then we'll proceed with the next type of transformation. The fifth sentence, note it down. The child stared open-eyed and his mouth watered for the burfi. Note this down. Well, let us write the answers. No sooner, again we are using the same pattern, no sooner did the child, the subject required over here, we need to change the verb from its past to present form. So no sooner did the child stared will now change to stare. Stare, open-eyed. We have the conjunction, we'll be eliminating the conjunction, we'll be using the connecting word over there, no sooner than. So no sooner did the child stare open-eyed than his mouth watered for the burfi. So in this manner we have changed the given sentence and transformed it with the help of no sooner than. Well, the next we're going to write is hardly when. Hardly, again the same pattern. Had the child, the subject we require over here. So this is the pattern that you need to remember. Once you remember the pattern, you acknowledge this very well, there is nothing that can stop you from writing the correct answer. Well, hardly had the child stared open. Hardly had the child stared open. So remember, we are writing over here. We are writing the past participle form. Remember this. Hardly had the child stared open-eyed hardly had the child stared open-eyed, then we need the connecting word over here, when his mouth watered for the burfi. Well, next we are going to write with as soon as. It's also a very simple and easy way to do. As soon as the child stared open-eyed, comma, his mouth watered for the burfi. Well, take a screenshot of the same, keep it for your ready reference, and I hope these 5 sentences have helped you to understand the concept about no sooner than, hardly when, and as soon as by applying the comma and separating the clauses very well. So this has been a rigorous practice for you about this particular transformation topic. I hope this is helpful to you. This was helpful to you. Well, we will move further with the next few topics that we need to work with. Well, we have got few sentences for each one of these, so we'll take 1 or 2 for each one of these. We have next, that is degree. So let's practice this one as well. The ninth subtopic, degree. First sentence. His light frame seemed heavy as a mass of lead. It's a positive sentence given to us. Observe it carefully. His light framed seemed heavy as a mass of lead. Well, we are going to change the degree of this sentence. You can very well say his light frame seemed heavy as a mass of lead. So when we are making use of the word as a mass of lead, the word as is making a comparison over here in the positive form. So very well you can see two things being compared over here. So we will be writing the answer in the comparative form but without changing its meaning. In order to do that, we have to make a number of changes. So acknowledge the changes very well. His light frame so here we are going to write the negative word didn't seem and change seemed into seem, that is the present form, in order to maintain the tense over here. So his light frame didn't seem, the meaning should not change over here. His light frame didn't seem heavier, so I'm using the adjective given in the from its positive to the comparative form. Heavier, his light frame didn't seem heavier, so we are saying it didn't seem heavier than a mass of lead. So again, when we use the comparative, we must use, or probably we use the word than as a comparison, a mass of lead. So comparison made over here. His light frame didn't seem heavier. We are making use of the comparative degree over here, heavier than a mass of lead. So comparison is made with the comparative degree, but the meaning has not changed by applying the negative word didn't. So that plays an important role in writing the answer. Next we will be taking the 10th one, that is the affirmative. So one example we took of degree. Probably I'll give you an sentence to practice in the homework about degree. Affirmative. One sentence for affirmative will take. Have a careful look. He knew his parents would never buy him the balloons. He knew his parents would never buy him the balloons. So what is being told over here? He knew his parents would never buy him, indicating a negative statement, isn't it? we are going to construct it in the positive form. So let's see how we're going to do this. He knew his parents would, we need a equivalent word which can maintain the balance of this never without changing its meaning. Well, so he knew his parents would do what? Would refrain. We came across this word in the earlier practice sentences also when we were practicing chapter number 1 from Beehive. He knew his parents would refrain, would stop themselves, would refrain, control themselves. So we are using a positive note over here. He knew his parents would stop, avoid themselves, refrain from buying, would refrain from buying from buying him the balloons. But one word we still need to add. Never was used as an adjective over here. Never, so as an adverb over here, never. Would never buy. So buy was the action doing word, never is the adverb used over here. So we need to use a positive word ever over here. So EVER, which makes a sentence come to an end. So in this manner, he knew his parents would refrain from buying him the balloons ever. So for infinity. This is how we have practiced degree, one sentence, and affirmative, one sentence. Take a screenshot of the same, and later on, next we will practice a sentence to transform into negative and one about remove to. Negative. So write down the sentence. Probably it is going to be a positive sentence for us. He hurried towards his parents. So the action is clearly indicating a positive nature over here. We want to change it into the negative one, but without changing its meaning. So he hurried towards his parent, that is talking about the child. So he hurried towards his parents can be written in the positive way by applying the negative word he didn't. But then if I just write he didn't hurry, the meaning would change. So I should not be changing the meaning when I add the negative word. So he didn't. What he didn't do? He didn't avoid hurrying. So the action of hurrying was not avoided. It means he hurried. But the statement that we have derived is negative now. He didn't avoid hurrying. He did not avoid this action. He didn't avoid hurrying towards his parents. So the meaning has been retained, the meaning hasn't changed in any case over here. So this was one example of the negative sentence that I tried to teach you and practice with you. Lastly, we have the topic about remove to. Let's take remove to. Note down the question. He was too old to play with such toys. He was too old to play with such toys. Well, you can very well see the word to, which we are supposed to remove. So we got to make necessary changes and remove it. We will be utilizing the word so. We learned in the earlier lectures also, earlier transformation practice exercises also. He was so old. So we are going to make use of the word so that. You come across this also, isn't it? So that, a combination conjunction that you have used. So he was so old that he couldn't play with such toys. Well, with this we have practiced almost all the subtopics that I was supposed to teach you. It is now time to note down the homework. Alternatively, you can take a screenshot of the same So take a screenshot and then I will note down the homework for you. So get ready to note down the homework. Well, now after having noted down the homework, let me say goodbye to you. See you soon in the upcoming lecture. Then take care and have a nice day.